Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining us today. This is the contract entity meeting. Welcome. I'm Carrie Lee. I'm the PHL Pre-K Contracts Manager. You'll hear from me today, as well as some of the other PHL Pre-K leadership team, and also the Spark Quality Support Center. This session is being re-recorded, and we will have the recording and the slides in the weekly provider update. Now, please have your computers and phones muted. Enter any questions in the chat box, and there will be time along the way to get to questions, so be sure to add those in. The purpose of the meeting today is to provide updates and information relative to PHL Pre-K delivery, provide any clarification about contract expectations. So if you do have any, make sure to put those questions in, review upcoming compliance and monitoring activities, share available quality supports to ensure that you all can meet contract deliverables, and then talk about program closeout as we get closer to the end of the year. This meeting also happens 3 times a year. This is the second. We'll have one more, and we'll provide more information about that date as that date approaches. Our agenda today will give some updates on the FY25 seat selection process and ASQ online. Then we'll talk through TSG checkpoints, kindergarten transition, compliance monitoring, and then you'll hear from Spark on quality supports available. So I just have a very quick update on the FY25 seat selection. I know some folks have been asking about notice of awards. So the applications are still being reviewed right now for the next program year. We will follow up just as soon as we can with information when it is available. And now I will throw it to Cassandra to talk through ASQ Online.
Hi, everyone. My name is Cassandra Kiriazis. I'm the Data and Performance Manager for PHMC for PHL Pre-K. So some updates about what's going on with the ASQ online rollout. So first, I'm just going to talk about our pilot group. So if you volunteered for the pilot group in September, and we have since confirmed that you have both of your ASQ3 and ASQ SE2 key codes, as well as who your program administrator should be, then you should have been invited to attend our first ASQ online trainings on March 1st or March 15th. If we were not able to confirm that you have both key codes, we are working on either getting you new key codes or replacement key codes. And I want to say there is no expectation that you get these key codes yourselves. We will procure them for you. And then all the rest of our providers who didn't volunteer for the pilot group, we are working to onboard everyone who's an FY24 provider by the end of May. And if you have both of your ASQ key codes confirmed and you have filled out our Cognito form telling us who your program administrator should be, you will be invited to a training starting on March 29th. And those are going to run every other Friday through the end of May. The Cognito form, I just want to highlight that we're asking everyone to fill this out by March 22nd. I will also drop it in the chat, but it's in these slides as well for when you look at them later, and it is in the newsletter. So I just wanted to give a quick overview of what to expect at the ASQ online training. So it runs 2 hours. I don't think we're going to end up using the whole time, but it's the expectation that you be there for 2 hours. We go through an overview of ASQ Online, so that's getting logged in as a program administrator, how to navigate the platform, how to enter in your key code so that you're able to access the screenings, how to add and manage users, and then we get into a sort of interactive portion where we'll get you logged in with the test account, and then we'll show you how to create child and caregiver profiles, how to enter a screening, how to share results, how to set follow-up tasks, how to print documents and blank questionnaires, and how to run reports. And once you attend the training, that is when you will then receive a username and password to log in, as well as a copy of the PowerPoint that was used during the training, which includes a lot of how-to video links and other resources, plus a one-pager about ASQ Online specifically for PHL Pre-K. So just to go over the training schedule that I mentioned, so we're doing our pilot trainings the 1st and the 15th. Our all provider trainings are going to start on March 29th. They'll run through the end of May. So you'll have a lot of opportunities to attend. So all of these are on a Friday, except for that May 20th training, which is on a Monday, because I didn't want to run a training the Friday before Memorial Day, because I know that that's not the most serious time. And then we are also offering office hours. So once you have attended the training, you'll be invited to attend office hours. These are going to be offered on the Fridays in between the trainings at 10 a.m. And then we also just wanted to highlight Spark ASQ trainings. These are not about ASQ Online. It's just really focusing on the how and why of why we implement the screenings, why we require the screenings, and you know why they're a key part of PHL Pre-K. So those are coming up Monday, March 18th and Monday, April 22nd. Okay, and I see one question asking if the ASQ trainings are mandatory. They are, depending on whether or not you have already used ASQ Online. So we have a handful of providers who have already used it. So if we know that about you, that you have used an existing account, you're not required to attend, but everyone else is required to attend. Yeah, so Melissa, I know you're from Spin and we know about how you guys are already using ASQ Online. So you are not required to attend the training, but most providers are. So teaching strategies, goals, winter checkpoint follow-up. So switching gears a little bit, the TSG winter checkpoint was on February 15th. All data has since been pulled down to assess how sites did with completing the checkpoint. In the coming weeks, you'll receive communications from PHMC about any next steps related to the winter checkpoint. You will also hear from us if you did a good job with the checkpoint and completed all children at 100% and had enough documentation. If you did not do both of those things or one of those things, you'll be receiving further supports from PHMC and the QSC. So look out for that. And then the spring checkpoint is here, the spring checkpoint period. So the spring checkpoint itself is on May 15th. The documentation period started on February 16th, right after when the winter checkpoint was. We can switch. So and so here is your spring checkpoint timeline. So our first documentation check is actually going to be in about 2 weeks. Documentation check to see if you have started entering documentation, the expectation would be that you have at least something in there by March 15th. Reminder that in the contract, it's required that all children should have at least one piece of documentation per area per child for each checkpoint period. And then on April 15th, we'll do a check on documentation and assessment to see if you started anything there. If you don't have any documentation entered in by this point, you will be referred to the QSC if you haven't already been. And then we do our final assessment check on May 1st. And on May 15th, we pull all the information down again, similar to what we just did for the winter checkpoint. And this timeline is also available. It'll be in these slides, but we just launched some resource pages like connected to the newsletter. They're just like quick web pages that have links for teaching strategies gold, for fiscal reporting, staff qualifications, kindergarten transition. That's all nested at the top of the newsletter. And on the teaching strategies gold page, this timeline is the first thing you'll see. So you need to look at it again. And I think that's everything I have. Yes.
Awesome. Good afternoon and happy Wednesday. I'm Jennifer Harris, the Enrollment and Family Engagement Manager here at PHL Pre-K. And I just want to share a little bit about kindergarten registration, which has begun. This year, we have a total of 2,570 students that will be transitioning to kindergarten. We want to encourage you to support your kindergarten eligible families as applications can be completed online. Schools are also offering open house events, which is a great opportunity for families to become acquainted with the learning experiences at the schools and learn about the school's expectations and ways to support their child's learning process at home. So Kindergarten Open House Week will be May 13th through the 17th, and we'll share the hyperlink so that you can know at what schools it's happening. Listed, we also have a kindergarten transition toolkit. While all school district elementary schools do offer full day kindergarten, there are limited seats per school. So it's really important to act quickly because once seats are filled, no new students can be enrolled at that school. There's also a guide for special education. Some of our children are receiving emotional learning, life skills supports, and more. And we want to make sure and support the families so that those services can continue. If you have any questions, you can reach directly to the school district, ktoransition@philasd.org. Parent outreach. As shared, as we have a total of 2,500 students that will be transitioning, PHMC will be sending out an email blast to all families that are kindergarten eligible, providing these links and offering supports. For the families that we do not have an email address for on file, we will support with phone calls to, again, help and ensure they are transitioning to kindergarten from PHL Pre-K. Last but not least, kindergarten plans were to be in childware by November 4th. Kindergarten notes were to be in childware by January 1st. The next step is to enter the registration note into childware. We ask that you confirm that kindergarten eligible children have registered at a local school and then documented in childware by Friday, May 31st. We will share these resources. We also want to share resources of how to complete the notes, as you can see, for our 2.0 users and our 1.0 users, and how to upload documents. Childware also has a feature for batch records. So if you want to do a bulk notes, a bulk upload of notes for students that are kindergarten eligible, you can do that. So say you have 10 students that are kindergarten eligible at your location, you could do one note for all 10 and then go in the system to give you credit for that. If you do have any questions, feel free to email me at phlprek@phmc.org, and I'll be glad to support. Thank you again so much and have a great day.
Hello, everyone. It's Nicole Moody from the Compliance Monitoring Team, and I just want to share some reminders with you. So your specialists are monitoring your health assessments and kindergarten transition meetings and notes up until March 22nd, 2024. You'll get a summary of the results, and you should expect them within 48 hours of the review. Providers have 5 days to enter or upload any missing information. And we want you to reach out to us if you are having any difficulties uploading, because if you don't upload within that time frame, it may result in a quality improvement plan. And also health assessments must include immunizations, and they must be current at the time of monitoring.
And now you'll hear from Rex from the Spark Quality Sports Center.
Great. Well, good afternoon, everyone. Happy Wednesday. I'm Rexian. I'm the Deputy Director of Content and Learning Strategy at the Spark Quality Support Center. And again, we are responsible for delivering those high quality support services to all of you as PHO Pre-K providers. I'll also preface that throughout my time of presenting, I will be dropping some links in the chat. So make sure the chat is open in case you need to copy and paste and save those after this session. Otherwise, feel free to reach out to Spark QSC if you weren't able to get those information while I'm speaking. So here on the screen, I just want to reiterate our success circuit, really demonstrating that continuum of quality supports and services that are available to all of you as PHO Pre-K providers, so that you can plug into them for your own success. So of course, the best way to engage with us is through your PHO Pre-K coach that's assigned to your location. They're the best point of contact and really boots on the ground to help you side by side in all things that's happening within your PHO Pre-K program, along with being able to work alongside with you to develop either a professional learning plan of sorts or a coaching plan, along with connecting you to any resources or individualized supports. And just an example to spotlight, as we just saw about the TSG Spring Checkpoint, really how can Spark support you in planning ahead for it. One of the best things you can do is connect to your coach and really think about how can you plan towards that checkpoint. Also, our specialist team did develop some really great resources to support all of you in planning and completion of that TSG checkpoint. And beyond that, SparkWise Purchase Center does offer opportunities to engage with the broader PHOPK community. So now looking at the room, I see a few familiar faces who are part of the PHOPK advisory. So thank you all of you to be a part of that community and investing to the PHOPK system itself. One thing I want to say out loud, some folks have seen this already, some folks or have experienced it already. Our events calendar did go through an update last fall. So if anyone who's engaged with our professional developments or training events last year and have continued to engage with us this year, may have noticed some changes to the event calendar itself. On the screen here is a live image that does go step by step in regard to how to register for professional developments. So when it comes to what that launch looked like, is that we have our events calendar that contains all those events coming up in the month and so forth. When you go into any of those event bubbles, a event page will open up. And from there, our hope was to really make the registration process even easier. So when you go to that event page, you would simply just enter your email. And if we have your account information within our system, it would actually pre-populate all that information onto that event page. You would do a simple confirmation of details and then submit. If you're someone who, if your email is entered and your information isn't in our account system, then all you really need to do is just enter in that information manually. And then from there, hopefully you don't actually have to do it again. So that way you can register with ease and able to get that information. Of course, this is new to our organization. So if you are experiencing anything with this new registration process, please reach out to our help desk or our info at email. There is a live chat feature on our Knowledge Center, so you can actually live chat with someone if you are experiencing those difficulties. We are hoping to really create a much user-friendly experience when it comes to all of you participating in our professional developments and trainings. A new initiative that we launched this year is the Many Dimensions of Class tool, Community of Practice. And for those who aren't familiar with a community of practice really is a space for a group of people to come together to share common concerns or set of problems or an interest of a topic, and to really use that community to share experiences, knowledge, and to lean upon each other. And so it is a very interactive experience. So for folks who may or may not be familiar with the class tool, where this community of practice is focusing on the class domain instructional support. And then each COP session, we're delving deeper into each of the dimensions. So last month was our first month of the community of practice, really providing an opportunity for providers who attended to reflect on class scores if available. And then this month, during the month of March, we are going to be delving into the concept development. So really thinking about those indicators and how to improve instructional effectiveness, adult-student interactions, and child language skills. In the chat, I just threw in the link to our COP that's happening this Friday. Otherwise, we do have other sessions happening on so second Friday, third Wednesday, fourth Thursday, and fourth Friday, all available through our events calendar for you to look at. And in each event, actually, if you click on the agenda tab, you can actually see the future sessions that are available for those respective dates. Next, I want to spotlight Civitas Strategies. So SparkWise Purchase Center is working with Civitas Strategy, who is a national firm focusing on supporting childcare providers or EC business owners with building business resiliency. So we did make changes to the consultation service that they are providing for us. One, we did add on allocations. So if you're interested in learning about allocation methods, that is one of the topics of consultations you could take advantage of. We've also recently just added a new tax education, coaching, and consulting for sole proprietors or single member LLCs or LLC filing as an S Corp or an S Corp. That tax education is now available to those for tax education reviews for C Corps. But that would be a great opportunity. It's tax season, really thinking about a one-on-one consultant who will work with you to review your previous year's taxes and then to identify opportunities and potential red flags on your business taxes. And then once your taxes have been reviewed, the consultant will work with you to discuss the findings and help you mitigate your tax liability and risk for your 2023 filing. And then lastly, with Civitas, we are hosting our last EC Business webinar with them. The last topic we have is Paying Yourself, a guide for sole proprietors, being offered on Monday, the March 18th. And this webinar will address the important topic that as the owner of a childcare program, you can and should pay yourself regularly. This presentation introduces you to how much you should pay yourself and the next steps to consider for your business after you've begun to pay yourself. And the ideal audience or participant for that webinar is really family childcare providers or anyone who are owners of a ACE program of sorts. The webinars are recorded, so if you're not able to attend that session, it will be recorded and available for distribution. And even our past webinars are also recorded and available for viewing too. Another initiative we've launched this year is with the Erickson Institute. The Erickson Institute, this year we launched a new trauma-informed practices certificate specifically for PH or pre-K, family childcare, and group home providers. And this is comprised of 6 sessions. The topics are here on the screen. And for anyone who completes the 6 sessions, they will receive a certificate from the Erickson Institute, along with 2 Lakeshore Learning Bundles. One, the Behind the Low Red Door Social Emotional Activity Kit. Next is another is the Peaceful Kids Classroom Yoga Kit, along with the Building Empathy Hardware Library. If you're a family childcare provider who has not had the chance to participate in those series, in that, no worries. Each session was recorded and available through the townsquarecentral.org website. In the chat, I am putting a link to the flyer along with on that same page has attachments of how to find those recordings on the townsquarecentral.org app. If you are someone who is planning to access the recordings and watch those recordings, we do advise you to please reach out to the Spark Quarry Support Center, letting us know that you've completed those recordings so that we can make sure you're added to the list when we start doing the Lakeshore Learning distribution this summer. Next is the Power of Peer books. Some folks last fall or last year also received these spiral activity cards notebooks. And these books come in 3 different seasons. So spring is approaching us. And just for folks to know the Power of Peer, these activity cards are really great ways to create positive relationships between caregivers and their children, and to really help them in building those meaningful relationships, along with thinking about school readiness. I've engaged with a few providers who've used these peer cards to actually support with kindergarten readiness and transition. So I definitely encourage you to check out one of our upcoming Lunch and Learns for you to learn more about the spring edition of these books and how you can utilize that during this time of the year. We have one coming up in March, another coming up in April. Both sessions available can be found on our events calendar. And we also do have resources that accompany these peer cards if you're thinking about how to market them or communicate them to your families. Next is our Second Step Early Learning Program. Providers received these last year, and new providers received Second Step kits this year. And throughout the year, we have been offering community of practice, each community practice delving into one of these topics here on the screen. Just an opportunity for you to really be invested and cultivating those positive social emotional development within the preschool classrooms and with your families. These sessions are typically offered every third Thursdays in the evenings. So if you're someone who has used a Second Step Early Learning Program within your classroom or would like to delve deeper to how it can be greater utilized within your program, or even just get familiar with it, we have resources and the COP to really help you along with that. And lastly, I know at the end of this month, for folks who are following the school district calendar, we have spring recess coming up. If you're someone who is planning, have great plans, fun plans during that spring recess, please enjoy it. Please give yourself that break. Other folks, if you're interested in professional learning opportunities, we do have a week of variety of professional learning that you can take advantage of. Some of these topics can support your family engagement, others can support your classroom practices, and others that can support your business and operational practices. And before I go in the chat, I am just going to drop a few more links here. So the links to our website, our Knowledge Center, and also my contact if you have any further questions or wonderings about the Spark QSC professional development and initiatives that we have to offer. Thank you all.
Thanks, Rex. So it doesn't look like we have any questions now, but we're getting close to closing out. So if you do have any, please put them in the chat box. We can get to any questions that you might have. Finally, just some dates to remember that we talked about in this presentation, mostly around TSG, the documentation check, March 15th. April 15th is also the documentation check and assessment check. May 1st is the final assessment check, and then May 15th is that spring checkpoint. And then finally, May 31st is the kindergarten registration deadline to have that note in childware. So it doesn't look like we have any questions still. If you do have any questions after this, you can definitely email us in the PHL Pre-K inbox. And as a reminder as well, this recording and the slides will also be in the provider update. So if there aren't any questions, that's all we have for you. Thank you so much for joining today, and we'll see you all again soon.